Hey everyone, welcome to Scoundrels Inc., the your number one source for Star Wars everything. You want to watch Mandalorian? We posted it here on the channel. Go find it. I promise you, it's only there for subscribers though, so you have to be subscribed to the channel. Guys, this is a big week for us over at Star Wars Town. We had one of the greatest Mandalorian episodes. Frank, you all right over there?
Star Wars Town, man. Population...
A lot.
A billion.
Yeah, a lot of people are in Star Wars Town.
Yeah.
We had one of the greatest Star Wars episodes yet. Star Wars Mandalorian starring Jack Black and Lizzo.
Yeah.
Still not sure who Lizzo is. This weekend is Star Wars Celebration London. We will be breaking down any news, any coverage, any whatever we can get from London. We're not there.
We're not.
As you can tell.
We're not.
Mentally, we are.
But mentally, we're there. I'm in a pub right now drinking a pint. We're going to be breaking down all that news. We're going to be bringing it to you, so stay tuned.
Live streams.
Some of it will be live streams, some of it will be recorded. Beginning Friday evening, you'll see the first coverage of that, and that is Pacific time. We're in the California, not the London. So stay tuned for that, and then Monday, we're going to do a full breakdown of everything that came out of Star Wars Celebration, Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific. So come view that. That will be live. So be there for the chat for that. Come join us. Come have some fun.
And if there's any trailers, we'll definitely be doing reactions to those. So come back over here for our intelligent analysis of future trailers.
Is Garrett coming?
We know Garrett's watching right now, so
yeah. Garrett watches the show. I have no idea. Garrett, if you watch the show, comment below. Let us know in the feed.
Yeah, he won't.
Leave us a positive review on Apple Podcast and Spotify. And
all right, so this morning I woke up and
same here.
I was getting ready for work and I was driving to work and I was thinking, what happened in the Mandalorian episode last night? Because I had a weird dream that Lizzo and Jack Black were in the Mandalorian last night.
Should I tell him or you should you?
And then I got to Frank's and we watched it together. And Lizzo and Jack Black were indeed in the Mandalorian.
And not only
I think you're confusing
Lizzo
with Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd was also there, but that's not as weird to me.
Yeah.
That was the one part that I did not get spoiled for me.
Okay,
was
good.
Christopher Lloyd being
Ironically, we've known Christopher
Lloyd.
I think
that's what I was about to say. We've known. Yeah. Well, I guess you did.
I don't pay attention.
But that was actually public.
Hey, Brandon,
information.
you're on a Star Wars podcast. Right?
What? You know, it's first contact day today.
Oh, okay, fucking hell!
Live long and prosper. Am I right?
All right. Okay. Look, I will say this right off the bat.
Not when this airs. This is not going to air on First Contact Day.
No, but when we're recording, yeah.
Could you cut in like a technical difficulties thing right there, just to make it sound like we reprimanded Brandon?
I might actually do that. So what I will say about the cameos, Lizzo, Jack Black, man, what a sentence, and Christopher Lloyd.
Future friends of the show.
I disagree.
Lizzo, I go to the same pharmacy as Jack Black, so you never know.
Here's how I feel about that. Lizzo, you're welcome on the podcast anytime.
Me and Jack Black get our antidepressants from the same person.
Jack Black is not welcome on this podcast for reasons, and he knows what he did.
He knows what he did. Okay, well, what I was gonna say is, did the cameos take me out?
Oh,
Sure. But then I got over that real quick because life is short, and sometimes so are Mandalorian episodes. And
this one wasn't.
This one wasn't though.
Honestly, I feel like the only one that really took me out was Lizzo.
Okay, I think of all of them though, Jack Black did take me out the most.
I thought Jack Black was the most jarring to see at first, but I feel like he did a good enough job in the role where after a minute, I'm like, all right, okay,
that's fair.
I see the character now.
And you know what? I know that
actor.
Just to lean into the.
Well, I would say that about all three of them, really.
Yeah,
but to varying degrees.
I don't feel that. I don't feel that way about Lizzo. She did not feel like she took me out of Star Wars. I liked her as I would like to see her in a Marvel movie, but I don't know that if this were a Guardians planet,
down would work a lot better.
Down with Lizzo and Jack Black, right?
I see what you're saying.
And I think Lizzo fits that universe a lot better than, say, Star Wars. There was something just off for me. That being said, I really enjoyed her in the role. It took, every time she was on screen, it took me out. Her costume was crazy.
It was very cool.
She had the floating flower behind her. Jack
cool.
Black's costuming was great. Not to lean into the role, I've been called out a few times for, paying attention to costumes and stuff too much. But like, Jack Black's costume, spot on. The stormtroopers behind them, like
which I didn't even catch the first time.
The tabards, until we were watching together. I'm like, look how sick the stormtroopers
cool.
look.
Stormtroopers? I didn't see.
They have like the armor underneath. Their royal.
Their guards were stormtroopers with like tabards over the stormtrooper armor.
Which was kind of cool.
Interesting. Were they just? Do you think they were actual like Imperials
I think
part of the program?
I think they're like Jack Black's former stormtroopers. Yeah.
Okay. The former Imperials are still on that planet.
I want a flashback of Jack Black as an Imperial.
Oh my gosh, that would be
like giving orders.
Oh my
no,
gosh.
I
in
want
like the middle of the war.
I want the next saga movie to like the next movie that takes place in that time frame.
Yeah.
No, I want him in the next season of Andor.
Oh my gosh.
But he said he was like an analyst. He wasn't an officer.
Yeah.
He was
Shoot
like,
down that X-wing. Skibidi-bidi-doo.
But you know what? I was also thinking about like his performance, Jack Black's performance, and because he's in the amnesty program and he's probably been mind flayed once or twice, it kind of makes sense that he's like a really kind of weirdly out there type of personality.
mind flayer or not,
It's a very
he reminds
soothing
me,
experience.
Mind flayed or not, he reminds me of like the nobility on Coruscant that we keep seeing in Andor and in Mando. Just aloof and they don't give a fuck.
Empire, Republic, I can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, if you can't tell the difference, maybe like, I don't know.
But you know
get
what?
Glasses.
they also weren't in this episode a whole lot.
No.
It was enough to be like, oh wait, is that Jack Black? Wait, is that Lizzo? Like, what is going on? After you watch it like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, then it's just like.
Is that how many times you've watched it, Frank?
Yeah, I have all this time to watch The Mandalorian. I'm sorry, the Bo-Katan that many times.
Bocatorian.
Boo-woo-woo. So, to jump back a minute, we got the Mon Cal and
that's right, the opening of this
Quarren,
episode.
Romeo and Juliet.
Fish kisses.
With I appreciate the Quarren's name was Captain Shoggoth.
Shoggoth,
which is a Lovecraft reference.
Oh,
squids and stuff.
Squids and stuff. Love that shot.
But I like the Romeo and Juliet theming, and I like that the Quarren ships are just Mon Cala ships.
Yeah, like they're
like heavier.
Yeah.
More squid-like from the front.
It was funny, like the Prince Calamari was just like, it was just a fling for you.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. And she was like, yeah, babe.
Yeah. Sorry, bud.
Sorry, babe. You gotta go back.
It's like you either go back or they blow up the ship. I mean,
right.
I'm not trying to die. You know what I mean?
Even to go to the very beginning of this episode, we open with this Imperial cruiser, a la the Mandalorian cruiser, if you want to call it that now. Bo-Katan's former members of her team, I guess. And so it was, and also I will say, a couple episodes ago, I think I said this on the show too, I started skipping the previously on part because starting with the Mythosaur one, where I was like, oh,
it spoils everything.
It started really telegraphing what is going to pop up in the episode. It's not super direct about it, but it's like, yeah, are we going to get references to the Darksaber? Are we going to see these other Mandalorians we haven't seen since the second season? So a lot of this stuff, popped up in the episode eventually in some form or another. So I skip it, but then I go back
and watch
to see what they put in there.
Well,
I'm like,
I will tell you, it was this one was confusing, right? Because you see all the stuff that hints towards the Darksaber being important.
Yeah.
And then you get this weird CSI like Miami Vice fucking episode.
I was really thrown off by the scenes of School of Rock in the beginning, personally.
I think you watched something else. And thank God, because I don't need to watch more School of Rock.
All this episode needed, though, was Bo-Katan putting on her helmet with like an explosion in the background, and just the music cue.
That'd be sick,
great.
man.
That'd been great. Someone should do that edit. Not me, but someone.
Hey, Brian Ward, get on that.
Yeah.
I want to see a Jack Black directed episode.
I mean, it would be wacky. It would be wacky.
It would be like a Robert Rodriguez episode, but like dialed up to 11.
I want to see Jack Black in the Taika movie.
Oh, the rumored,
whatever the rumored Taika movie is. I want Jack
Actually,
Black
you know what? They should put this Jack Black character in Book of Boba Fett. Like he's got to go. He's got to go on to like Tatooine.
That would
and
work.
Like I think he would totally. I think fit in there.
See him in Ahsoka.
No, that wouldn't work.
It's like Thrawn.
I mean, we don't know. Oh,
stop what you're doing, Thrawn.
I feel like
Daddy Thrawn.
I was gonna say, I feel like you would call him Daddy Thrawn. Oh, Daddy Thrawn, I remember my days as your lowly functionary. I'm so pleased.
Please come see the view, Thrawny. Come on.
I'm so pleased to be in your cobalt presence again.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so look, I guess at the end of the day, we're all fans of this Jack Black character.
Do you crave excretion?
Please enjoy the secretion. Oh my god.
I appreciate it's just like a very like peaceful, mostly unproblematic planet.
He's
nice
that
place.
It was like WALL-E.
There was
It
no
a WALL-E
strings
world.
attached. You know what I mean? Like whenever our heroes get welcomed into some planet and it's like, oh, come to our royal chambers.
And then Jabba's like, push him in the pit.
There's always like some like mischievous evil things going on in the background, but no, they're really just like
you're thinking of Loki.
they were just like hanging out. No, this
Well,
well, just like in media overall.
This whole
always a
dwelling
catch.
or settlement is completely automated with, you know, these...
It's our future.
I mean, I would
Pay attention, Americans.
If all I had to do was, like, lie around, just be like, have a recreational, like, life and just...
I mean,
like,
jokes aside, like, with me saying that's our future, but, like, flash forward to the droid cantina.
Sure.
And the droid bartender, who you pointed out looks a lot like EV-99D from Jabba's Palace, the surveyor droid, I guess. That droid's speech, he talks about how it is their purpose and their gift to the humans to serve them because they gave them the droid's life. So I really liked that.
Yeah.
I really liked that speech. It was a really interesting frame of reference. Like, hey, don't scrap us. Like, this is what we do. You know,
Right.
Yeah, in a perfect society, you guys get to live peacefully and everything's provided. And, you know, we do the labor because we're not sentient.
Because they're programmed for that.
Yeah, they're programmed
at the end of the day.
So I did enjoy that speech overall. Not to jump too far ahead. I mean, there's not a lot to break down in this episode. I mean, Christopher. Let's talk about Christopher Lloyd.
Sure.
He should have been cast as 99.
That would have been...
Because he looks so much like Clone 99.
That would have been really cool.
But I liked him. He didn't take it out.
He was the one, the least that... I was like, oh, yes, Christopher Lloyd. And then he started doing his whole spiel, and I was like, cool. Like, he fit the most of the three to me.
And he was really well... Like, that character was probably made for him and not the other way around. I
still think I think Lizzo and Jack Black's character were made for them as well.
Yeah.
Because you just don't be like,
okay, yes.
Who could we put in this role? Jack Black. No, I want to have this type of character. I got Jack Black in mind.
I don't know.
I
feel like there's other actors you could have put in the like.
Oh, totally.
You know,
but I think like
you could have put Will Ferrell in Jack Black's role and been fine.
Oh, would I prefer that?
He would have been more. He would have been more like deep and eloquent. But it would have. Yeah. That would have taken me out just as much. And I love Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Maybe it's because I think of Doc Brown, and that's another sci-fi character.
Yeah.
That like I sort of equate to Star Wars.
We have to go back to the Clone Wars.
We did. It really felt like a Clone Wars live action episode.
Just cool.
Wars.
I just didn't like his costume. His costume looked too much like the Nova Corps in.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're true. That's true. That's a good call.
Sean's got Guardians of the Galaxy on the mind.
Well, this episode's very reminiscent of Guardians.
I don't think you're completely wrong.
Like the world is very reminiscent of something you would see in Guardians.
But at the same time, I really enjoyed. What was it
I
called?
was going to say Nardians.
Pleasure. What was it? Pleasure.
It is
Pleasure.
Pleasure 15.
Pleasure 15. I did like the aesthetic.
Beats the hell out of Pleasure 14. Let me tell you.
The first 14 sucked. 15, they finally got it. Yeah. I did like this world. I like
what they say,
the street
15th
level.
time's a charm.
That's right. I did like the street level and the chase with the B2 droid. Actually, we're kind of just really bouncing all over the place.
That's fine. There's not a lot of
but I think
substance.
going down to the Ugnaughts and having Din reference Queel, I thought was that actually like got me excited. Like hell yeah, Queel, because we love Queel, right?
I had kind of there's been a couple times this season where I thought he was going to go to like try to find the IG memory core.
Oh,
right,
yeah. We have 2 more episodes, Sean, so be patient, man. I know they set up in episode 1, but try to be a little patient.
That's fine. I just thought like that would have been a perfect moment.
Actually, you're 100% correct. And that still might happen.
Which maybe he could, it depends if we're going to be on Plaisir again. I doubt it, because that would...
I mean, I think we'll definitely go back to Plaisir again, just because of the relationship that was built there.
Okay.
At the conclusion of this episode, I could totally see
because you
going
think
back
those
there.
Mandalorians are going to stay on Plaisir.
Well, because I think there was this conversation about Bo-Katan. You wanted to retake Mandalore, this, that, and the other. You would have we would recognize you as a system now, and we can help you with the New Republic.
Fair.
And so I feel like could be in the future an ally of sorts for Mandalore and Mandalorians.
Cool. I hope you're right. I didn't think about it that way, but yeah, I hope you're right.
So yeah, which means we'll probably see Lizzo or Jack Black again in another episode somewhere down the line. If we only see
one, which do you think is more likely?
Oh, Jack Black.
Which would you prefer?
Jack Black.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would, because he's an Imperial or former Imperial, so there's a little bit more intrigue, if that's even a thing you can say.
What about you, Brandon? Which would you prefer?
Between Jack Black and who?
Jack and Lizzo. Jack Black and Lizzo.
Well, they're a package deal.
But if you only get one,
that's fair.
Unless they get divorced.
Oh no!
No, I just think that the casting
budget.
budget.
They fell in love. They're in love.
The casting budget, they're probably both there because they had their agents call Lucasfilm and said, please put us in a Star Wars. Of course they'll come back. What do you mean?
I got to get their agent because I did the same thing with my agent.
Yeah,
I'm still not.
No.
I'm still haven't been in a Star Wars.
Are you a super famous musician or actor?
No,
not here in the
No.
U.S., but in other countries.
I'm big in other countries. I'm big in this country too, like physically, mass wise.
I'm actually huge in
I need to
Luxembourg.
lose some weight.
Luxembourg. Yeah.
That's because Luxembourg's real small.
I know.
Okay.
So there's the joke there.
Yeah, I had requested to be. I had tried to get cast for the Young Snap Wexley movie.
The Young Snap Wexley series, that they're doing on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
Disney Minus Plus.
I just wanted to see how they would do Mr. Bones.
Mr.
You don't know who Mr. You guys don't know.
No.
Mr. So Snap Wexley has a B2 or B1 battle droid named Mr. Bones.
Okay.
Because he's covered in bones.
Interesting.
And so like he clatters when he walks.
That's
'cause
funny.
All the bones.
Why is he
very
covered
stealthy.
in bones?
He thought it looked cool.
Whose bones?
Didn't you dress like this because you thought you looked cool?
Like various.
What's up, man?
Various animal bones.
I'm not wearing bones.
Various animal bones and people bones. And he's programmed with various combat droid and battle droid and General Grievous programming.
Does he talk like this?
He talks like Matt. He talks like.
Do
Funny
you
enough,
do every voice from the prequels? I gotta know.
I try.
he talks like Matthew Wood.
Yeah.
You know.
Matthew, what?
Okay. So
It's not your best. But
I gotta
it's pretty
work
good.
on it.
Yeah, you gotta work. I believe in you.
but it's pretty close. It's pretty good.
I think you're gonna get that one.
You're welcome.
When he gives the lightsaber to Grievous.
You're welcome.
It was great to see B1 battle droids and having speaking roles.
Yeah.
I did like the part with Din kicking the B2 battle droids. But I do want to talk about
Call
this.
them super battle droids.
But I do want to
super.
talk about this point about Din because I've seen a lot of
He's racist. Against
talk about
droids.
it, about his. Oh, I thought Din got past his animosity towards droids. And first of all, I think understandable. He's still super sour at super battle droids, right?
Oh,
due to flashbacks, right? So that makes sense. And then why not the other battle droids as well? Separatist, droids, if you will.
Well, super battle droids killed his parents.
Well, yes,
that makes sense.
But
I'm
also
sorry.
just battle droids in general. But yes, more so the super battle droid. But then also his hostility in the droid bar. Some people were like, "Oh, I thought." We were kind of past this when other droids were like R5 and whatnot and IG-88. The other droids that
totally different scenario, right?
I think so, and I think it's also Din trusts to an extent Peli, right? And the droids that she employs, like that didn't happen right away. You got to remember, like there's a level of trust that was built over time, and then he let them in. But if it's just some rando droid on the street, he's going to be insanely skeptical and wary of those droids, especially when goes to this planet where they're like all malfunctioning. That's just like, gonna set him off. No matter what.
They're not malfunctioning. That's an insult to the Ugnaughts. Can't say that.
That's right.
The Ugnaughts look great though.
I have spoken.
You have spoken.
Hey, there's something I want to say earlier that I forgot, and then our producer just walked in the background. Our producer Travis pointed out that this feels like a Super Bowl ad.
Oh my gosh, that was
and
very.
It is
it's
too
very
accurate.
Funny. Yeah,
it is too accurate.
The Jack Black Lizzo scenes, specifically,
because it's real soft focus in the background.
It is kind of it's like a Bud Light Super Bowl commercial. Like it's funny
Grogu
in that
became
sense.
the Bud Knight.
I feel like Din, like they're gonna flash back to Din, and he's wearing a suit of armor made of Bud Light boxes.
Yeah, like when Grogu jumps into Lizzo's arm for the fish, it's like when you throw a football. Just like.
And they were, if you watch The Mandalorians, they were throwing something that like looked like
they were. You're right.
It was like
they were throwing the Bud Light.
It was like halfway
can of
between a
Bud Light.
baseball and a football. I don't know what it was, but they were like throwing it like a baseball.
They're like, "Hey, throw me a cold one."
Throw me a cold Camtono. Yeah,
Brought to you by Bud Light.
Camtono Light. That was a great call by Travis there.
Yeah.
Very funny. Even with all that,
that's why he's our producer.
Yeah. That's why we fired David.
He also lives here.
That's
which
true.
helps.
Yeah. He lives in the rafters.
Hey, producer.
Yeah, here at Lucasfilm.
He lives in the
Skywalker
annex.
Ranch.
He lives in the annex. He's.
I'll annex you.
He probably could. Yeah. I don't even know what that means, but
It means he's gonna make you a part of him.
Pato.
oh
I don't know if he realized what he was saying either, but
yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh, righty then. Well,
Hey, you should be flattered.
yeah, sure.
Texas fought hard for annexation.
Yeah, they did.
Remember
didn't they?
the Alamo.
Remember the Alamo.
Remember the Clone Wars?
Go on.
There you go. Some of your best work yet, Brandon. Some of your best work.
Remember the trade blockade of Naboo?
That's it?
I don't think I was here for Ahmed Best. I have to say.
There you go.
I have to say.
Yeah, that was 2 episodes ago, bro.
I'm glad to see the Naboo finally grew a set of balls. You know what I mean? The way they were fighting clone troopers after like cowering to battle droids in Phantom Menace in 2 seconds.
Am I right? A set of
They
boomers.
got big
Yeah.
boomers, man.
They're Boombas.
Is it Boombas or Boomers?
Boombas. Ah, big Boomba.
Oh, yeah, okay. There
Depends
you
on your accent.
go. Depends what region of... Depends what region
Depends
you're
which
from.
part of the lake you're in.
Yeah. Are you from the planet core or are you like a surface dweller?
The planet core.
But yeah, because I've complained on this show before about how they just let that invasion happen.
Yeah.
They handed the queen over to battle droids like it was nothing. But
I wasn't here for that episode.
when it came
I guess
to
not.
when it came to the rescuing of Grogu, though,
Oh, you were not for the Phantom Menace.
they stepped in. They were like, "I'm here to kill clone troopers and chew bubble gum, and I can do both at the same time."
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow, mouth noises. We had some bad mouth noises last episode. It's all my fault. So I'm sorry to the audience for that.
So shout out to Naboo. They finally got their stuff together.
Yeah.
But talking about this episode.
Yeah.
I'm sure if they were there, they would have taken
would've
out
taken
some
care of
droids.
So yeah, we find out. We basically find out Christopher Lloyd is a separatist,
Yeah.
That's a, what do you call that?
a pejorative term.
Pejorative. That's a
Which is
new
a
word for me.
great line.
What a rebuttal.
Pejorative.
Separatist is such a pejorative term.
I love democracy. You sound like Palpatine.
Yeah.
I love
totally.
democracy. No, you don't.
But they introduced this droid lubricant. What was it called? Nano?
Yeah, so basically he has a droid Neptarine or something. It's oil, right? It's just a brand. All he said,
like a nano droid based.
well, all Neptarine is, or whatever the word was,
nectarines. Yeah.
is a brand of lubricant. It's like saying Jiffy Lube or
Valvoline.
Valvoline. Thank you.
Nailed it.
Right, it's just a brand of oil. So it was laced with nanobots, which reprogrammed the droids, yada, 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 whatever. The point is, he's the baddie.
How they're going to reprogram tech. In the
Yeah,
Bad
you know what? I
Batch.
think you're right, Brandon.
Nanobots to the brain, guy.
Wouldn't that work on the other one, not tech?
Echo?
That'd work on Echo more
Maybe.
than tech.
But you never know. Maybe he needs like cybernetic enhancements. He did fall from the sky.
Are you looking up?
Yeah, because that's
Okay.
bothering me.
Cool. But then he's dragged before Lizzo and Jack Black,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "All right, great.
He's like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Will you forgive me? Maybe one day, but you're exiled to the moon."
Yeah, he's like in like it's funny how quickly your tune changes. 1 second you're going, Count Dooku was a visionary.
Yeah.
To like, you know what, my bad. I hope you can forgive me.
You're exiled to the moon.
And then Lizzo's like, she's like, I hope I can forgive you one day too. We all do bad things. It's okay. But you got to go to the moon.
And then she winks at the camera like,
But like, what is an exile to the moon? Because like, what kind of communications abilities does he have? Because he could call a buddy with a ship and just come and pick him up.
sure. And if that happens, that's fine, but he's not on this planet,
Right?
right?
He can go back to the planet.
He could, but do you see how much security's on that planet? Bo-Katan and fucking Din couldn't even get into the get anywhere
Well,
off
that's
the
because
landing
they were
pad.
playing nice.
All right. We play this game all day.
Come on, you think that they could take down all those TIE fighters, but they can't take down Jack Black's security?
Yeah, sure, you're right, but this is the problem with Star Wars fandom on Twitter, right? So stop it. Let the story be told.
Where's General Grievous? Why wasn't he in this? He's a droid, kind of.
No, he
The
isn't.
droid man.
Although
Android.
speaking of General Grievous, Bo-Katan and Din go to meet with Casca, and
Jocasta knew.
that's a different character entirely, Brandon. With Casca Reeves and my favorite named character, Wolves.
Axe woves.
Axe Wolves.
Woves.
Axe Woves. What a name.
No, it's Wolves.
Woves.
It's spelled like wolves.
I think she says
It's not
wolves.
spelled like wolves. It's WOVES.
I thought, or did she say wolves?
It's spelled like wolves, but without an L.
Okay.
It's just wolves. It sounds like a kid who doesn't know how to say wolf.
They gave
saying
the L to
wolves.
Christopher Lloyd, am I right?
I'm still trying to look up
He's
this
still trying to look up
freaking
the
word.
thing. Should we pause
He's
while you
watching.
watch
No,
it?
keep
Because-
going. You two are on.
Okay.
So live on air.
Because I don't know that it's making good television.
predicted. General
All right.
Grievous.
Um,
That was a bad one.
what did you think of the confrontation with wolves?
I thought that was really cool. I
did
thought
too.
the action was well directed.
I thought this was the best we've seen Mandalorians in action in the suit. Actually using jetpacks and using the gadgets and like all of it
Yeah.
came together so well.
Maybe on par with like Jango Fett versus Obi-Wan in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, I would say it's the same sort of level of action seeing the Mandalorians. Although in that one they copped out by making the jetpack not work.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that this time we actually got to see the jetpacks in action.
Flamethrowers.
Yeah, we had flamethrowers. We had
Shields.
Bo's little shield. We had we got to see Bo with the darts this episode.
Darth Saber.
Fuck.
Dark Troopers. I was disappointed last week.
there?
One of you said Dark Troopers, and you didn't say
it's
it
like,
like
why
Moff
can't I
Gideon.
just find this word?
You have 2 episodes left. Where the hell is Moff
I don't-
Gideon? Giancarlo
It was right
Esposito
there.
was
Yeah, I know,
at
but
the
I was trying
premiere.
to figure out how to say it now.
Okay, I don't think.
Nanophyte? I think that's what it is. That's what's called. Nanophyte.
Whatever it is.
Hey,
Listen.
Sean, if you want to like pay attention to like all the armor and the uniforms,
But I remember it. That's the difference.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm trying to do this thing, and
Sean's like a velociraptor. He remembers.
oh my gosh. All right, so where did you guys leave off? I was so
I know you were.
I was
We're
trying
talking
to
about the
talk
final
about Moff
scene.
Okay,
Gideon, but nobody
okay,
was listening.
No, I heard the Gideon part. We're talking about X-Woes, Bo-Katan
Bo-Katan.
fight. Very cool. I liked it. Great choreography. It was really cool to see like all those Mandalorians there. It
was a
like,
lot.
the cruiser and all the other ships and stuff.
Well, there was 2 Sea Rock cruisers, a whole bunch of Gauntlet fighters, and the big Imperial.
cruiser.
You know, my
Aquitans
my concern is there's like a
Aquitans.
lot of Mandalorians there. Like, could be like as much as like 200 people.
I
with
don't know
them.
that there's that many, but
I don't know, man.
I think at least 50, which is
There's
still
probably
a lot.
50.
It looked like a lot to me. It looked like a lot more than the Children of the Watch.
Sure.
Oh, definitely,
absolutely.
definitely.
So if Bo-Katan tries to bring these two people together, the Children of the Watch are heavily outnumbered in terms of like ideologies.
So
what's gonna happen?
I don't know.
We're gonna stay tuned.
Yeah, that's what the point of the next 2 episodes are probably.
I hope.
And then like
We
literally
think
like we
maybe.
were talking about how like most of the Children of the Watch now are just like adult foundlings probably. And
or at least apprentices. But
Yeah.
the most of the night owls that we saw here were, not night owls not being the right word, but most of Bo-Katan's crew looks like they're all young. They're in their 20s.
but like they seemed to like only believe Mandalorians are people of Mandalorian like family heritage.
Yeah. Because that's kind of where the two ways of thinking, even in Legends canon, breaks down. In Legends canon, what Jango was part of is closer to the Way, and what Jango's part of is kind of a mix between the two because they believe they're noble mercenaries, which is kind of what Wolves and Costco were standing by. But Death Watch in old Mandalorian culture and in Legends culture has to do a lot more with Mandalorian blood and that passing down of the Darksaber and traditions like that. So that does make sense to me.
But I think a lot of that was kind of rebuffed in a way in this episode when we get the whole Darksaber situation, if you will, which I really want to talk about.
The Elder Wand.
The Elder Wand.
Yeah, Mandalorians
Darksaber.
will believe anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bo-Katan won it from the guy who beat me in combat, and they're like, all right.
But also, like, yeah, I think it's a little odd, but also at the same time, I think there's this implication of, well, Bo-Katan even says, "Look, we're stronger together." And one of the things that pains her, she says, it's a
Apes
previous
together.
episode,
She says, "Apes together strong."
right?
Yeah.
And one of the things she says in previous episodes is that what pains her is to see Mandalorians fighting each other.
Right.
And so this,
she doubles down on that this episode when Wolves calls her out and says, "Why haven't you fought him for the saber yet?"
Right. And so, yeah, I think there's this, even though it seems like she reluctantly adheres to this Darksaber tradition where it just can't be handed over, as she says to Din. But then he comes along. But
remember,
with this,
part of that's because she's taken the saber
yes,
as a gift before
yes.
and failed. Right.
But at this point now, she has seen the Mythosaur, and now she has been given a quest by the armor to reunite the Mandalorians because of this sighting she has had, right? Not a vision, the sighting she's had.
Yeah.
So I think it's really interesting what perhaps this new Mandalorian culture might look like. Whereas in order to progress within the culture of like higher ranks, you don't have to fight one another anymore. It's about who truly deserves it in a sense. Like it's more like merit based rather than combat based, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it totally does. And I really appreciated that sentiment. Although I think it was kind of a cop-out story-wise.
Well, that's not another part I want to talk about, but go ahead, yeah.
I think it was kind of a cop-out story-wise, but I think it really made sense for the theming of it. Because, yeah, I mean, if the ultimate goal is to bring Mandalorian people together, and I've got a theory, there's a lot of complaints this season by me, being one of these people that have complained about it, with the treatment of the Children of the Watch and the cult. And I kind of have a guess of where it's going next, and I could be totally wrong, and it'll be fine, whatever. But we'll go into that later. But yeah, I think that this decision to pass the Darksaber peaceably makes more sense, and it also kind of reflects like the pretty heavy concept in Star Wars of like the Wookiee life debt or the Gungan life debt, right? Like, Din is, by passing over the Darksaber like this, it's almost Din swearing not fealty, but like being like, "Hey, I have your back on this."
Yeah.
Right. You saved my life. I have your back. You know, and I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think that's a really good way of handling it.
Totally. Any thoughts, Brandon?
Yeah, I think they just both respect each other. You know, that's why like when it's like, hey, why haven't you fought him for the Darksaber? And I think deep down it's like, obviously like Bo has those issues
because I love him.
Yeah. Well, obviously Bo has those like internal issues from her past of being like, I don't know if I want this responsibility again because of all the crap that went down.
Because you remember what happened in Rebels.
Yeah, big fan. I'm aware of what happened. just didn't see it play out. But I know things.
Continue.
Yes. But aside from that, I think that she just has like a lot of respect for Din. And I think that's a big part of it. You know, it's like she doesn't feel the need to like take that from him because maybe he is the one who's worthy to wield it. You know? So that's what I think.
I will say when when you look at it from, I guess, a story perspective, a writing perspective, they kind of really put themselves. The show put itself in a bit of a bind when they had Din defeat Gideon. Didn't kill him, but defeat Gideon, right? And it got the Darksaber. And, you know, he goes onto the bridge, Din, and Bo-Katan sees this, like, what the hell just happened? I needed to defeat Gideon to take the Darksaber because that's how this thing is done. And it's a lot easier to fight someone when you have animosity towards someone, especially when they've just annihilated your people. And it's harder, definitely harder for Bo-Katan to fight Din because of the respect there. And so I just remember, like, well, how is Bo, if she's supposed to get the Darksaber, how is she going to reclaim the Darksaber without fighting Din? Now, you can do that without killing the other person. It happened between Gideon and Din. People recognize that Din was the rightful owner of the Darksaber just by defeating him in combat and not killing him. And so I thought one way you could have done this was have Bo-Katan and Din. There's a challenge. They fight much the way, not so much in a confrontational way, the way that Bo-Katan and Axe Woves did fight in this episode. You could have had that play out with Din and Bo, but they did not do that.
Well, Axe would have killed her. Here, let me
I mean,
clarify
that's
there,
true
right?
too.
Like Axe would
that's
not
a good
have.
point. That's a good point.
Like so, Bo-Katan spares Axe, but Axe would not have spared Bo-Katan. I personally like what I think would have been a better thing was they show up, because Bo says, you know, Din says, "What's the plan?" And Bo says, "We'll figure it out when we get there." I would have loved they just show up and Bo-Katan turns around and says, "Din Djarin, I challenge you for the Darksaber," and then does the same thing, doesn't kill him, you know, whatever. Because I would have loved that as a turn on the audience.
Sure. I want to ask you this then. How do you think Din would have fought in that battle?
I think Din would have fought honorably because I think ultimately, although Din respects Bo-Katan and doesn't want to kill Bo-Katan, I think he understands the weight of the saber, whether or not. Part of the problem is Din doesn't feel worthy enough for the saber, I guess, or doesn't understand the responsibility, but he understands the saber's importance to Bo-Katan, which is why he handed it over, right?
Yeah.
So I think he would have fought just fine. I think he would have lost that fight, right? Because he has to for the story.
Purposefully or...
No, because I think he can't lose the fight purposefully. There's no honor in losing the fight purposefully.
Yeah.
So I don't think Bo-Katan or Din, either of them, want him to lose the fight purposely.
Well, I think no matter how honorable your intentions are, if you challenge someone for the Darksaber, you have to at least be prepared to kill that person.
Sure, absolutely.
You know, just like anything could happen, right? Like, you know, she challenges like Woves, right? Woves?
Yeah, Axe Woves.
Like he literally shoots his flamethrower
That's
at
true.
her.
That's
like
true.
he was trying to light her on fire.
Well, and I also
You know
think
what I
that
mean?
I personally think Bo-Katan would kill Din if it came down to it. Right? Like as much as she's protected him and as much as I think she does respect him, I think out of respect for him, she would kill him. Right? Yeah. Because that's who Bo is.
Yeah. And it could come to that point. Like you're in the middle of a fight. It could be a kill or be killed situation, or it could be all right, my only move here is to kill this person, and if I actively choose not to, then I'm not fighting honorably. That's me like holding back.
Right. So
it gets messy.
So with all that said, then I do think the way it was handled in the show, because if you do it that way, right, in the show, then there's really no progression or evolution of the Mandalorian culture, right? Which is, I think, ultimately I think the show is trying to...
We're trying to get to a point where we're trying to get a point where we can reconcile Satine Kryze's Mandalore with the traditional Mandalore of a warrior culture, right? We're trying to reconcile a peaceful, respectable Mandalorian culture with the warrior culture that is Mandalore.
Yeah, so I think with this way of things of how the Darksaber was transferred to Bo-Katan, I think, is supposed to help set up this new way, if you will, when it comes to the Darksaber, and really as a Mandalorian way of life as a whole, with where it's not about fighting each other all the time anymore. It's about being strong together, as opposed to
apes together strong.
Yes, apes together strong. And so I do like this development with the Darksaber. Because look, I think it's fair to say everyone likes to see some
heroes,
combat and conflict, like that.
Like
happen,
Batman versus everyone loves Batman versus Superman.
Right. And so you like to see, you want to see Captain America and Iron Man, right? Like, go at it,
Why? I want to see Batman versus Superman again.
I'm just give another example, okay?
Okay, sure.
Batman versus Iron Man.
Sure.
Who wins?
They're the same, yeah.
No, they're not.
Well, I mean,
Depends how much prep time does Batman have.
fuck that. That's
anyways,
a dumb answer.
anyways, that's a different thing. So,
Zero, they're from different universes.
so I really
Batman versus Kevin McAllister. They both have a lot of prep time. Who wins?
but I understand why some people out there may not
Dislike
like how
this,
it was handled, and I to each their own. But I think the way the show has been, I think the show stayed true to itself in this situation.
So I want to, I'm going to come back to the point I want to make.
Okay.
Which I think this sets up what I think it sets up going forward. But first, I want to address the whole cult thing, the whole whatever, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of creators have come out, who are much bigger than us, and talked about the issue with how the cult is being handled in this season versus the previous two seasons, where the previous two seasons have
Frank,
once an episode that happens.
We always got to have a little.
All right,
mishap.
I'm gonna wait till you get that in because it makes funny noises.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's start that again. There has been some discussion about the difference between how the cult is handled this season versus the last two seasons, where the last two seasons sort of held the cult ideals as bad, and every time Din takes off his helmet as good, right? Mm-hmm. It shows him developing and growing, and that like when Bo-Katan and Axe and Wolves first meet Din, that they're like, oh no, you're in a cult, like
yeah.
Right? Like
That's true.
The way that the cult has been characterized up until this point has been very different. Then this season kind of takes a different approach to it. I think I understand why now, because I think that the next few episodes and next season are going to go back to challenging that, and it makes it a little more dramatic if we have these 6 episodes or these 5 episodes that show the cult in a good light, to understand why it's a challenge for Din to understand that this is not right. Mm-hmm. Because they've been so heavy-handed with showing the cult as bad, without showing us some positivity from the cult, we as an audience just go, yeah, Din, just like clearly, right? But because now we've had a little bit of time to go, well, clearly the cult cares about the foundlings, and they do care about the Mandalorian culture, and they care about protecting their own and what have you, right? That gives us positives to make it a little bit more dramatic for Din to see the light and for that culture shift to change. Because ideally, if these two cultures come together, the whatever you want to call Bo's factions, right, and the Children of the Watch, if those two forces come together, there's going to be some meeting in the middle and some mingling, right? And that's ultimately, I think, what we as viewers want to happen and expect to happen.
Well, I think, obviously, they're very culty, and that's not good. The whole helmet thing is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, yeah.
But I do think they have honorable values, and I think that's a big reason. They basically raised Din. And so I think there is a reason Din is an honorable man.
That's my point, right?
You know?
I guess that's my point, is that both sides of the coin are flawed,
mm-hmm,
and both sides of the coin have their own redeeming qualities.
Yeah. If you look at their values, you're like, these are good people. Mm-hmm. But they're weird.
They're weird. They're weird, and I still don't trust the armor, and I'm still not sure. I think that, I think when push comes to shove, I think Paz also has to have a wake-up call, mm-hmm, and see the light on things, and I'm hoping that he does, right? It's interesting.
Yeah, like because like for me, like what is the Armorer's like intentions here? We get these two factions of Mandalorians together. One won't take off their helmets, and like they're not gonna accept. Like, is the Armorer prepared to like try to convince all these other Mandalorians like you have to put your helmet on?
I don't think so. I don't think that's her intention.
I don't think anymore.
I think that's her Well, no, I think that's her ultimate goal, right? Like down the line, like she would like to see everyone return to the way. But I think she understands that. I do think that at least Bo-Katan and the Armorer both understand that Mandalorians need to come together. Now, I'm hoping that is part of the conflict we're going to see in the next 2 episodes and in next season.
I'm like wondering, like, is her angle like you can be a Mandalorian without walking the way, and we can all still be Mandalorians together? But like my faction's going to choose to walk the way, but you guys do you.
I think her overall intention is to get everyone to walk the way, right? But I think her immediate intention is now knowing that there's a mythosaur on Mandalore and that Mandalore is habitable. I think both her and Bo, their intentions are to retake Mandalore. And I think
how hard's that going to be? Just land.
I don't know, because they're saying retake Mandalore. Like, we need an army to retake Mandalore.
Phrase.
I'm like, there's no one defending Mandalore. Like, just fucking go, man.
Monster thingies. What are they called?
Yeah, whatever. They could shoot them. Yeah. They have guns.
Yeah. I think there's something.
Eyeball dude. Maybe there's more of him.
There could be more of Eyeball dude, I guess. But
there's something to be said about the armor and the way she has implemented the way, right? It seemed like she was angling for like a cultural reset by adhering to the old original ways of the Mandalore, right? And we talked about it, I think, last week too.
We did talk about it at length.
Yes, this evolution of the Mandalorian culture and this progression. And I think, and I'm like just theorizing, right, that to go, because they lost, she talks about in the first season, they lost their way, and that's why
she's coming back to it. Yeah,
the Mandalorians,
and ultimately
were what about the word am I looking for? They were annihilated by the Empire.
They were a
right?
lot of things, right?
Right, sure.
The Neo-Mandalorian culture,
the Mandalorians, all that stuff, and so I think her idea was to do a cultural reset, and then from that point progress as needed or however it was dictated. And one of those ways I think that was dictated to her was Bo-Katan saying, "What if I saw a mythosaur?" And then that triggers the next step. Okay. And now bringing the Mandalorians together is going to trigger another step. It will be interesting to see if, in fact, her mindset is the way I think the proper way to go is the older ways, keep the helmet on, this, that, and the other. But it also does seem like when she says Bo-Katan walks both worlds, there does seem to be a bit of compromise on her part. But how far will that extend?
Yeah, so that's the thing.
Is a question.
And the other thing you have to ask yourself, because that's not to talk crap on your theories last week, but that's a better stated way of what you were trying to say last week.
Yes, totally.
So I still don't agree with it.
Sure.
But I see the frame of mind there. But again, from a storytelling perspective, I guess I ask, okay, but if all Mandalorians are working together and there's some level of compromise, what's the point? What's the point of the show? I guess, at least for me, like this show has built itself as like the cultural conflict between different Mandalorian factions and Din Djarin's reconciliation of those concepts.
Sure.
Right. This season's a little bit of a sidetrack from that, but I think I'm starting to see it as an intentional sidetrack, and I really hope I'm right about that, because otherwise I will feel that this season has been sort of a waste for me. There's been great moments, and there's been moments that like I love. There's been some of this season has been my favorite Mandalorian's ever been.
Yeah.
But the overall direction has been my least favorite. Right?
This is the waste.
So it's well, I guess I disagree with it being a waste.
Yeah.
But right, like do you kind of see where I'm coming from? Like the show
totally.
The episodes individually have been some of the best they've ever been, including this one, in my opinion.
Within a vacuum, yes, I enjoy this episode as like a Star Wars episode. How it feeds into the overall
story,
narrative plot of the season, I think more could be going on for sure.
Or this could have been earlier in the season, like just changing the placement or the order of it would have been better.
I wish like the show would either move faster or have more episodes in the season.
Yes, I agree. I think it needs more episodes. I absolutely think this show needs more episodes.
There's 2 episodes left. We haven't seen Moff Gideon. We don't know what.
I don't think we need to see Moff Gideon.
He was at the red carpet. He better be in this thing. I swear to God.
A bunch of people were at the red carpet that aren't even in this show and have never been in this show.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Okay, well,
my future friend of the show, Daniel Logan, is clearly in the show.
I think that I do think that we will see Moff Gideon in the show again.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it's this season. Or if it is, it's like right at the end, right?
I think it will be.
It's gotta be.
I think he'll either be in next week or the finale.
Why
sure.
would
And it's going to be one or the other. It might be both. I don't know. But
also then we have 3 finales in a row where it's just like, oh, hey, look, Moff Gideon again. We got to deal with him. And I don't need that.
But and you can disagree with this, but I do think like Gideon ultimately is working for Thrawn. Like taking
maybe you're right.
Directives
I don't
from
really
Thrawn,
have a strong opinion one way or the other on that.
But I think the finale is going to tie into Ahsoka.
Yeah.
There's gotta be like
And
something
that will
going
feel
on.
hype,
I mean, I would love to see the last shot of the show is like Gideon being thrown into Thrawn's art chamber and Thrawn just ending him.
Maybe. That would be crazy. That would be really
or
crazy.
not Thrawn. It could be the Nagri, whose name I forget. He was in Rebels.
The one who died?
Did he die?
Yeah, he died.
Oh,
remember he fought with Zeb, right?
Bummer.
Oh, what's his name? I can't think. Oh, what's his name?
I don't know. He's in the Thrawn, the original Thrawn novels.
Yes.
He's the one in the original Thrawn novels that kills Thrawn.
Oh, he has like. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay.
Well, for me, I need to see more of like what's going on with like the Imperial remnant overall. I feel like in the last episode they really emphasized the like importance of Navarro, and there's like more things going on that we don't understand.
But I think we're leading to like a Defenders style like season.
I mean, they've alluded to
like
it, David.
For
John
me, like
I
like in my mind, I'm like seeing like Navarro as like the Lonely Mountain in like the Hobbit.
Reek? Was it?
No, Reek is a character from
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
It starts with an R though.
Rook.
There it is.
Yeah, like I'm seeing Navarro as like the Lonely Mountain from the Hobbit, where like Thrawn wants it for like strategic positioning in the Outer Rim. You know what I mean? Like there's something going on.
Well, they have labs there, right? So they have a lab there.
Maybe you're right, but again, I don't know that that's necessarily a topic for this show, or if it seeds for other shows.
This is the show.
Alex and Molly are going to now give us a cease and desist because that's the title of their Mandalorian review.
It's Holy Snokes. You can't be saying things like that. Come on.
Do you want to get to questions?
Yeah, speaking of Holy Snokes.
But also, real quick, final thoughts on this episode.
We're going to cover a lot of that in this.
You guys are a bunch of scum and villains.
I'm
let me tell you.
Here's the way we're going to do this, because we don't have a show with Q&A on Monday. We're going to cover all the Mandalorian-related questions first, and then we'll go to the non-Mandalorian questions.
Roger.
So, speaking of Holy Snokes, we have a question from the host of Holy Snokes.
Which one?
On the PLD Projects channel. Go check that out. Maddie Gunner, does Jack Black still have to worry about the rent now that he's married? Now that he's married into owning a planet. That is I believe, School of Rock.
I think that's a School of Rock.
So I'll let you field that.
The rent is way past due.
Okay, I'll let you field that because
sings it.
Frank's never seen that movie,
Never
and I don't like that movie. What? So
come on, man.
You go for it.
That's
Brando.
a good movie, man. Go watch School of Rock if you have the chance. Yeah, I don't think he has to worry about rent anymore. I think he married up, which is very good for him.
Yeah,
did.
and I don't know, and he is a part of the Republic, so he has to worry about some sort of tithe or taxes to the Republic. But
Yeah, he's got
money,
restrictions on
man.
him,
Yeah.
certain things. Yeah.
They got a bunch of droid slaves. They're swimming in dough.
He's like, basically, if you're in an amnesty program, you're like forever on parole. Like, basically, it seems like.
yeah,
he's L337's worst nightmare, though. Let me tell you.
hey, just quietly get rid of these shitty droids.
What do you mean? Yeah.
Question from Thomas HH. Do you think it was a filler episode, or rather, a future characterization of Bo and Din and their relationship before getting to the final part of the episode?
Before they kiss.
Well, no, basically setting up that characterization for the end of the episode, or I guess future episodes as well. I think I'm gonna say something rare here. I do think yes, it was a filler episode. However, I do think filler episode. I'm gonna recontextualize my terming of a filler episode. I think filler episodes exist for characterization. Right? For the most part, usually a filler episode, the main thing it does is give us better characterization and understanding of those characters. So yeah, I think it was a filler episode up until the very end part. But I don't ever see that as a bad thing. I enjoyed the episode.
I got to see a bunch of battle droids, so
you're filled.
I'm pretty filled. Yeah.
Great.
I don't think it was a filler episode because I think they did set up this planet for future episodes. We talked about it earlier in the episode. Hold on. Okay. Because they bring up in this episode Jack Black's character, that they'll recognize Mandalore, this, that, and the other. They have an ally. I think also, furthermore, it further demonstrates.
And then they'll have a battle droid army with them to fight Thrawn.
Dang.
How sick would that be?
I don't think that's going to happen.
Boo.
Anyways, I do think it really did progress the kind of relationship that Bo and Din have. And I think that is ultimately going to matter. And I think it really did matter when you got to the end of the episode because she really did have Din's back at the end of the day, right?
And she had a better understanding of Din.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was... Did we deviate from the main plot of the season? Yeah, for like 25, 30 minutes, I think we did. Yeah, sure. But it did serve a purpose. And so for that reason, I wouldn't personally consider it filler. If you do think that, that's on you.
Hey, man, it's setting up. There's going to be a giant battle on Mandalore, right? Thrawn's going to be in the middle with like his stormtroopers, and then he's going to get flanked. Mandalorians on one side, battle droids on the other side, and they're going to close in. Then Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka and Ezra are going to like jetpack in from the top.
You're starting to sound like the worst parts. Today, you are sounding absolutely like the worst parts of this fandom.
Just saying, how cool would that be? Pretty cool.
You're better than this, Brandon.
Oh my
God. I can play with my action figures if I want.
You can. You absolutely can.
Oh, boy.
But also, you're better than this.
That's great.
Whatever.
I think it depends on your definition of filler, ultimately, right? Because I think there's lots of filler episodes out there.
I think it depends on your definition of a red light. Like, what?
Yeah, in some universes, red means go. I learned that in Doctor Strange.
Because I think, yes, that this is absolutely a filler episode, but I don't think that's a bad thing.
Okay.
Because I think every filler, I don't think any filler episode out there that features your main characters doesn't characterize your main characters. Right? Clone Wars has filler episodes that don't feature main characters.
Yeah, that's like true essence
true
of the
filler.
What's Jar Jar's girlfriend up to these days?
I don't give a crap. I don't care.
Right.
But that's exactly the episode I was thinking of, right? Or like the Meeber Gascon Droid Arc episode, which I really like those episodes, but they're absolutely filler, right? So I think that, yeah, you can have filler episodes, but it not being detrimental to the show. In fact, I think kind of sometimes you need to have a break from the plot, right? Because if your plot's just going and going and going, you get exhausted by the end, So,
with 8 episodes, I mean, if you can,
I know, I agree with you there, but I also
understand your point as well.
I know how they're thinking of it, right?
Yeah.
JX Editor asks, what do you want to see? Who do you want to see cameoing? Am I saying? I feel like
Kaminoan.
Who do you want to see Kaminoan in Star Wars next?
Tonwi.
What actor? What actor do you want to see?
Do you have anyone in mind?
Do I have anyone in mind? Peter Dinklage.
You know what? I think it'd be. Wow. Okay. That'd be cool. What?
Ooh, Toby Kebbell.
Which one's he?
He is Doctor Doom in Fan Force Stick.
I don't remember that.
He
movie.
is in the television program on Apple TV Plus called Servant.
Never seen it.
He is the one in Kong Skull Island that goes, "Is that a monkey?"
Okay. That one. Okay.
Big
Yeah.
fan of Toby Kebbs.
Sure.
If you're out there, he's the one in Bloodshot who does the little dance in the
Never seen
beginning.
I want George Lucas to make a cameo.
Oh God.
As himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is not how I wrote any of this. Oh, look at that.
I want to see George show up in Andor, and he's just like, "Hey, Mon Mothma, it's me, the Pantoran senator."
No, but you know what? In all
Empire,
in all
Republic.
actuality,
I
I
can't
think
tell the difference.
Bryce should.
Oh, because she hasn't. Yeah. Okay. I agree with that.
I mean, she was Yaddle of the voice, but she can
Yeah,
be a
As
completely.
Yaddle.
in
In makeup.
in what show though?
She's in universe cosplaying Yaddle. Yeah.
Force Ghost Yaddle.
She's
In
there's
full
like a
makeup.
play of the Jedi Order.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Coruscant. Okay, so this one we talked about. This one's from IT Nama, who,
Nice.
by the way, shout out to IT Nama. Let us know how to pronounce their name properly.
Yeah, what's
It's
that?
Frank.
Yeah. Wait, what?
They said their name is pronounced Frank.
Guys, guess what? I've been IT on this entire time.
I
think
think
so.
that there's multiple people named Frank.
Oh, that could
Yeah.
that could be another possibility.
I don't know. Frank's got a lot of burner.
Or
accounts.
they're trolling you, which
I don't.
I think is the most likely answer.
Like when I read that, I was like, I don't
I
Are
don't
you
know if
coming
there's-
at me, or are you just
I
being
think
playful?
I think there should be playful.
I'm gonna
So
go
anyways-
that way too, but you never know.
Anyways, Frank says,
It's fine either way.
do you think there was a reason that Bo cut off Christopher Lloyd before?
Oh, right.
Before he mentioned Skywalker, because his last line is before he was cut down by the Jedi in Force.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad. Yeah, I think we were
didn't
talking about this
care.
earlier too. We're like, who else could he be talking
Right.
about?
I think
Like,
he's absolutely talking about Anakin. I just don't. I think it was just like a wink and a nod to us, the audience.
I would have loved for if he could have just said "Aunt,"
Yeah, if you went, and
like give me
Or-
the letter A in there, and that'd have been like. But Dave was like, or John Favreau was just like, cut him off right there.
Yeah, I think it's more of a wink and a nod to the audience. You have to
Totally.
remember, like, he is a separatist, so him calling Anakin a Jedi enforcer totally tracks because the separatists don't view the Jedi in a positive light.
But this had me wondering, like at this point in
Yeah.
Star Wars history, if they are aware that Palpatine was playing both sides of the war.
I don't know because it's been hinted at in Bad Batch a little bit, right?
Because if you knew that,
It was
you
hinted
wouldn't
at
be
somewhere.
idolizing Count Dooku, because then you would know that he was also playing both sides of the war.
there was a time when they were talking about Rex said
Right.
Chancellor Palpatine, and then started calling him Emperor Palpatine.
Which I guess
or
Rex,
Darth Sidious, maybe.
I guess
think
Rex would
Yeah.
know from like
Order 66.
Ahsoka.
well,
You know, like,
Ahsoka.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. Because Ahsoka was keyed in that in the end of Clone Wars, Ahsoka is keyed in on what's going on a little bit, and so I guess Rex would know from, and Bale I think tells Ahsoka.
Okay.
In the maybe I don't know.
I mean,
Whatever.
they better find out, because then Rise of Skywalker comes and he's like, the Sith fleet. They'll be like, what the frick are you
Okay.
talking? Oh, he was Sidious.
But also Luke knew
Luke.
in the time
That's
of
right.
Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Which it makes sense for Luke to. So I think some people know, but I don't think it's everyone knows. I think people who are like in the know.
And then, of course, the Empire would suppress any type of
Right.
information.
The
like
Empire
that,
would suppress, and honestly, the New Republic would kind of suppress a little bit too, because I don't know.
Maybe,
I think the
maybe,
New Republic. I think the New Republic absolutely suppresses information like that as well.
New Republic's kind of lame.
I agree.
At this point, yeah.
I agree. Janine Devine, friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Future friend of the show.
No. Okay. I don't think Brandon knows what that means. Janine Bean says, after this episode, I feel like we lost some of our potential conflicts surrounding Bo. What conflict do you think can properly build these last two episodes, and will Bo be at the center of it?
Dark Troopers.
So I'll go back. I'll go back to give you guys some time to stew on it. I'll go back to what I said earlier. I think we will still see a conflict between Bo and the armor. I think it makes too much sense for it not to happen.
I totally think there'll be a conflict between whether it's directly the armor, but certainly between Children of the Watch and her crew. I certainly think just because she was able to get Din approved by doesn't mean she's automatically going to be able to convince her crew that Children of the Watch come walk right in. I think that will still be tough. They relented in that moment, but that doesn't mean there wasn't someone in the back that was just like, nah, I ain't doing it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, there's always going to be dissenting voices.
Fuck that chrome-headed dude.
Right. So I can totally see that happening, and not to mention, I think Paz, he might be the one come to in the forefront of a character that we know could have interesting feelings about this whole situation as well, and that would be directed at Bo.
I want to see the Paz and Wolves showdown.
Whoa.
Paz wins in 2 seconds.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
I think Wolves has better
mobility
experience, but yeah.
But
Paz is beefier.
What do you think, Brando?
The conflict? There is no conflict. See how I did there? That's Darth Vader.
I did. Okay.
I could see. You think Bo and the armor are going to clash?
Because I think if, again, from a storytelling perspective, if you want to give your main character, who's still Din Djarin, the most conflict, like if you want to give him the most conflict, that's what you do. You make him choose between the armor and Bo-Katan.
I know. I just think we might not see that until like maybe the next season.
That's fair.
Because I think maybe we're going to see these Mandalorians united against a common enemy, an Imperial enemy.
That's what I'm thinking
That's fair. I think that's the most likely thing. But I think that as far as personal conflicts, that's still going to be boiling to the surface. I think we're going to start to see that immediately. Because there's no reason to just have a existential conflict. You should have existential and, interpersonal.
Interstitial.
Interstitial.
Interstellar.
Which is still not a word.
Marv.
Interstellar is a word, but
that was your ghost, Marv.
Darth Kitty.
Kitty.
Meow.
Oh my god, you are incredible today.
Actually, Darth Kitties are all non Mando, so we'll come to him next.
Okay.
Never mind.
John Booze. Shout out to John Booze, friend of the show. At least friend
show.
of me. John Booze asks, what if Jack Black was married to Kyle Gass and they would lead as two kings? They had the tube technology showcased pretty well. City Hall by Tenacious D. I've never seen this movie.
I have never either.
Brando.
I haven't seen Tenacious D in a very long time.
My answer to that, John, is yes.
Tubes.
If you think it's a good idea, then let's do it.
Okay, his next question is a pretty good one.
Okay.
If you had a droid chef, or would you have a droid chef cook for you after what you saw in this episode? Hell no.
No.
If I could inspect it, have daily, hourly, minute by minute.
Yeah, I'd
have like diagnostics.
I'd have like B2 emo microwave me something.
Just only microwave.
Yeah. You're like, here's your uncrustable,
Hot
Brandon.
pocket.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's Dio, right?
Yeah,
that would be
No,
Dio.
thank you. No, thank you.
Hot pocket. Hot pocket.
Heat.
Eliminated.
So you're a maybe. Limited. No knives.
Nothing with knives.
You're a no knives.
No
guy.
knives.
Frankie.
I would. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go for it.
Okay.
You only live once.
YOLO.
Yeah, and like, just imagine how
Unless
good
you're
the food's gonna
Unless you're Palpatine, then yo twice.
be. Absolutely. But just imagine how good that food will be. It would always be precise ingredients. Like, always
okay.
Made with no love.
perfectly cooked.
Yeah,
steak,
I think the
you know?
imperfection is what makes food good.
Well, I mean, have you ever had a perfect steak?
No, because they
Then
don't.
you
exist.
don't know.
And then this.
Well, by the way, just real quick, this is stupid clarification. It's only perfect based on how it's programmed, which is by a human. So
Right.
if I programmed it to cook a steak
Okay.
this exact way, every time, because that's the way I love my
And
steak.
your perfect is not my perfect.
Exactly.
Right.
So
Boom! I mean, Samantha, again, we're doing the...
Medium rare.
I won it.
It's got to be medium
It's not a
rare.
fight.
I won.
Okay.
I won.
I need the...
I won.
I need the hosts of this podcast to stop shedding each other's blood.
What? Shitting each other's blood?
Shedding...
Shit.
Dude, battle droids versus dark troopers. How cool would that be?
It wouldn't.
Dark Troopers would just...
They outnumber the dark troopers like 10-1 though.
Sure, battle droids outnumbered a lot of people 10-1 and they still lost.
Man, that's... Yeah.
The Techno Union Army will defeat
what's
the
the
dark
next question?
troopers.
John Boo's final question is, which droid from the droid bar was your favorite? He really dug the blue VAC painted protocol droid. Blue droid was tight. I'm going to go with BU-4D, the yellow load lifter that's in the background. We see him in Star Wars The Force Awakens.
What was the droids I said?
You liked the R3X.
Okay, yeah, see, there you go.
Which is, for those that don't know, there were 2 R3X droids, which you may know as Captain Rex, not to be confused with Captain Rex the clone. But they are Captain Rex from the old Star Tours, and now they are DJ Rex from Oga's Cantina.
DJ Rex.
They also show up in Rebels.
Nice.
Good soldiers break down.
Oh my gosh.
Brando, who's your favorite? Who's your favorite Cantina droid?
I just loved watching all the B1 battle droids, and there were a few in there. But I do like because we got to know him a little bit. The bartender
Bartender was
I
cool.
thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was a cool
Just
design.
like on a
too.
personal level, you know.
He really had values he stood
He
up
did.
for.
Yeah, he's just like seemed like honest.
Yeah, he
you
definitely
know.
seemed. You're right. You're absolutely right.
It's
I'd
like,
to meet-
hey,
I'd like to
man.
meet his maker, you know?
Yeah, like I don't want any trouble. Like it's either this or we get shut down, and I don't want to get shut down.
Cool. Any other add-ins on that one?
Nope.
Dope. We got a few more questions left. It's going way back up to the top. YoungerBot 5555.
Whoa, fives.
Or as I like to call him, Young Fives. Young Fivey.
Young Fivey.
Young Fivey asks, what do you guys think about the Cy Snoodles band scene from the special editions? It is maybe the only Star Wars scene that makes me want to rage.
Like rage in a good way or a bad way?
No,
Because
bad.
you can rage in a good way.
I think he's saying he doesn't like
Quite a
it.
leap
Is
you're making, I
is
think.
that Jedi Rocks? Is
So he is referring to the Ja Yowza band.
that... Who be there?
No, he says his name. Ja Yowza. Who be there?
I thought
No,
it was,
no.
Yeah, I was trying to do the no. That was me. That was trying to do that.
So what's the question? Does it make me
How
rage?
do you feel about Jedi Rocks?
I don't.
It's filler.
Like, it's fine.
What? It's filler.
Well, it depends on your definition of filler, Brandon. No, I it's fine. Like, and also here's the other thing. I have not seen that's the only version that I watch all the time because it's what it is, and so like
Lofty neck.
Yeah, Lofty Neck. Thank you.
there we go.
It's not. Lofty Neck is not better. It is not better. Lofty Neck is bad
Well,
now.
don't let Kevin Smith.
Do you want your lips lady to be CGI or a puppet?
I want my lips lady to be CGI'd because I will tell you, Jedi Rocks is a vast improvement on Lofty Neck. I'm so glad they redid that scene because, whoa, the original is not good.
if I was at Jabba's palace and Jedi Rocks started playing, I'd be like, all right,
This is pretty good.
yeah.
Now, I would say if they had redone Lofty Neck, yeah, maybe I'd like that better, right, than Jedi Rocks. But ultimately, I don't think the original Lofty Neck or the original Yub Nub were good enough to keep in the films. No. If we're going to update the films, you may as well update them and put better things in there. And we all here, I think, agree. The Andor celebration song that's there now
Oh yeah, totally.
is a fucking banger.
yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, but I mean, there is some value to like Lofty Neck sounds more in universe. I definitely agree with that. I'd probably prefer an updated Lofty Neck or Jedi Rocks being not called Jedi Rocks. Although I don't think it's in universe called Jedi Rocks. I think it's called Jedi Rocks because it's a Star Wars rock song from Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, right.
I don't think that in universe that's called Jedi Rocks.
It's all about how much Jai Yowza,
Jayazza.
he thinks the Jedi rock.
Sure. Or he's talking about
ode to the Jedi.
Yeah.
or he's talking about how Jedi can lift rocks.
Ooh,
Hey,
that's what they're good at.
that's that's all I see them do, really.
I think
Anything?
where am I at? I'm just
Aspect.
gonna scroll through and see if there's any other
Ability
Darth
to
Kitty
speak
was,
does not make you
well,
intelligent.
they're the last one on
Okay.
on the thing. So, all right, yeah, it's just Darth Kitty's. Got a couple questions here.
Okay.
Spaceballs 3, Back to the Future.
Nice.
Plot set in the prequels. A back-to tank is on every ship. People have visions instead of flashbacks. Hellgate develops his nanobots. I don't know what the question is, but I like it.
I think it sounds like more of a pitch.
Do we like it? Yeah.
Oh, you just want to see like a Hellgate flashback story, but it's
I see.
but it's
yes.
okay.
That's very good.
I'm
I
down
like
for that. That's
cool.
funny.
Very cool.
This one I like. So this is like a social etiquette question. When is the best time to ask? I like their suggestion on this one. I'll read that in a second.
Okay.
When is the best time, like etiquette wise, most appropriate time to ask? I hope you like secretions.
Yeah, I totally think like Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, see, I usually
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
hear enthusiastic consent first. Yeah.
I don't know what's happening right now.
Jack Black's first question is, I hope you like secretions.
It's not a question. It's a statement.
Okay, well, you know.
I mean, fair enough. What?
Yeah. And then his suggestion was we could save it for when we finally launch Scoundrels King.
Oh gosh,
Scoundrels King.
that's our first episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you like secretions.
Our first episode will be on whatever that thing was in the tank and the thalasiren, and it will just be called I hope you like secretions.
I hope you like. Oh my gosh.
All right, and then he says, is it just him, or does the still active droid, the weird medical ME examiner droid, look like Kyle's adopted brother from South Park? I haven't seen a South Park episode in years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because Kyle's adopted brother, he's a Canadian, so his mouth...
Oh, yes, mouth bounces.
Okay. I guess. Yeah. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
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 especially once he gets split in half. Okay, would a drunk gonk be a drunk?
Oh, you know what?
Or is it just depressed and refusing to recharge?
Oh, man. Huh.
I think it'd be a drunk. I think drunk gonks would be a lot of fun,
Yeah.
but very dangerous because they're like a gonk droid's like a little thermal nuclear power plant.
That's
What if
right?
a
By the
gonk
way.
droid became emperor of the empire?
Where do you come up with
Brandon,
this?
how would that work?
What?
Think about it.
No.
Okay, I'm trying.
Think about it.
It's in the Senate. And they go, all right, we'll blow up
Is
the
that the
boom."
last question?
No.
Oh, let's say that'd be a perfect way to end the episode. Just Brandon.
Just saying. They could get elected. You don't know.
I mean, you know, look, unfortunately, yeah, I think you're right.
Okay, this is actually a really good question. I really love the parallel that both clones and droids gather in bars as they face being decommissioned post-war. Who would be your droid representative on the Senate? Ironically, Brandon fed into that damn it! Would it be a droid?
Gonky?
Future Chancellor of the New Republic, Gonky.
Would it be a droid, an organic, or something more closer to a Cylon or LMD?
General Grievous.
You'd have General Grievous. General Grievous is not a droid, so you'd have an organic with droid parts. You'd have a cyborg.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need a cyborg, I think, you know?
I would have someone like C-3PO who's human cyborg relations.
If I could pick anybody, I would pick Ahsoka.
You think okay? That's really interesting. I would have
Because she's a Jedi and she could just mind control everybody.
She's
But
just-
also,
she's
she
just
wouldn't
a
do that.
citizen.
She wouldn't do that.
You know who I would have is an Anzellan.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, the Galactic Senate.
droid should not be
decommissioned. Hey, droid freedom.
Bad Senate. Bad Senate.
Listen, guys, we want to thank you for coming out to Scoundrels Inc. tonight on this lovely Thursday morning, technically.
Yeah. Thanks for waking up.
Filmed this on Wednesday night. But, the lovely Thursday morning. Guys, stay tuned this weekend for all of our celebration coverage. We will be going live most likely mornings on Saturday and possibly Sunday, depending on if anything comes out Sunday. And then Friday evening, we'll be doing some sort of live thing. Again, it depends what news we get. But we're going to assume that there's going to be something for us to cover at least briefly. And then Monday, we'll do a live show in place of our normal Bad Batch reviews Monday morning. We'll do a live show Monday evening at 7 Pacific. Join us in the chat there. Ask us questions, whatever. But we're going to cover all of the news from Star Wars Celebration London. Follow the Twitter, follow the Instagram, follow the TikTok.
Subscribe to this channel.
Share with your friends. Tell your friends, hey, guys, there's these wacky, zany, wonderful guys. There's the handsome one with the curly hair. There's the practical one that always wears a red shirt. And then there's the other guy that talks about costumes a lot.
And he wears glasses.
So does the handsome one with the curly hair.
Yeah, but your glasses are not, they don't look as fragile as his.
Fragile.
It's Italian, yeah.
Scoundrel. I like the sound of that.